I know my loyal listeners have heard me say this before, but as Yogi Berra once famously said, it's deja vu all over again. And we got a case of deja vu today as it's the Blazers taking on the Memphis Grizzlies for the second time in 24 hours. And hopefully tonight's outcome resembles the one that happened last night in this very building as the Blazers picked up a 135-115 victory over Memphis last night. Welcome into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you'd like to join the conversation with me, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Of course, you can head to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the chat there, or hit us up on the Rip City Radio text line, 88528. And, of course, as Shacker slowly pods down the music, for those of you with a keen ear, you'll notice that is 3 Doors Down that he's rocking tonight. Sad circumstances as lead singer of that band, Brad Arnold, who had said he announced over the summer he had been battling cancer, passed away this morning. Just a great voice and a great band. So the Rip City Radio condolences go out to all the fans of 3 Doors Down, because Brad Arnold was a real one by all accounts. I had a friend reach out who said he happened to work with him at one point when he was doing stuff and helping bands coming through town. Said he was one of the nicest musicians he ever got a chance to work with. So sad news in the music industry today. So shout out to Michael Shacker for picking that for our intro music. Now, the Blazers, they get to party tonight. They get to welcome Memphis back to town, even though they never left. And after last night's game, you would hope that they can continue to play the way that they did in that game. In a game that started out a little slow, but by the end of it was just a runaway victory for your Portland Trail Blazers, 135-115, the final score. The win was nice, the score was nice, but nothing was nicer than finally getting to hear calls like this.
Lines up a three. Got it! Welcome back, Scoot. His first points of the season and a big triple. 10-point Blazers lead their first time with a double-digit advantage in this game. Williams on the perimeter near side, hands it to Scoot, who turns the corner, drives and hammers it down! There it is! We've missed that for the first 51 games of the year. Scoot packs it in with the right hand, 91-77. To the corner now for Will. Scoot has the ball with 9 to shoot, gives it up to Grant. Corner 3 from the far side. That's good. That's his spot, and he makes it count.
That was Jeremy Grant's spot, but who was passing him the ball? Scoot Henderson. Scoot Henderson, in his return, showed exactly why you wanted him back to the lineup, exactly why I have been saying he had been showing you how important he was to this team, even though he wasn't playing. And while we talked about how we all want him to make the jump, become a better scorer, all those things, I have felt that through the way this season has gone, he has proven how valuable he can be to this lineup simply by not being in it. Because you start to realize, we need guys who can handle the ball. And Scoot can do that. And Scoot came into the game last night, and the offense was, again, it was a little rusty to absolutely be expected. 50 games he didn't play. But you know what was not rusty? His ability to find the open shooter. He would have had more assists if a couple of shots were converted, but they weren't. He ended the night, Scoot Henderson, 4 of 10 from the floor, 9 assists. 9 assists, led the team on a night when they had 31. Very good to see from Scoot Henderson. And I was talking to Chad on the phone a little bit earlier today, and one thing that you love about Scoot, and you start to see where his value comes into play, is the fact that he does something that Denny Avdia does too. They crash and they run at the rim. Dribble, run, pass out when the defense crashes on you. And that's what he was doing, and he was attacking, and then he was being able to find Jeremy Grant. He was able to find Vit Krejci. There was a spot there in the first half. It was 3 straight possessions, 3 straight Scoot Henderson assists. Found Jeremy Grant in the corner for 3, found Vit Krejci in transition for 3, found Jeremy Grant in transition for a dunk. Having Scoot Henderson back was nice. Now, Devin asks in the YouTube chat, The Empire Strikes Back or The Return of the Jedi? Not sure what sequel we will be this evening. Well, first off, 2 phenomenal movies. So if you want to give me entertainment on that level, I'm all good with that. But I think you want a little you want a little Return of the Jedi, right? You want Luke coming in full power, and that is the Blazers coming in and just sticking it to the man, sticking it to the Memphis Grizzlies. That's what you want. That's what you want. Just don't give me, the prequels. Which rant here too. The prequels are not bad movies. I went through it in a Star Wars binge a while back. I was just watching them and rating them. They're like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. They are terrible Star Wars movies. I'll give them that. Oh, CGI, and let's just throw Jar Jar Binks in there for no reason. That is not what we're here to talk about. Star Wars, though. We're here to talk about the Blazers. Now, you guys make that reference because what have I been talking about? I like to make references and metaphors and puns and jokes and tie-ins. And I've been talking a while about the Blazers needing to stop collecting Lego pieces and start building the Death Star. Well, they've got those pieces in place, and they're starting to do it. I like Vit Krejci. Getting Scoot back is great. Now start putting it on full display. Show me what you got. Now, Scoot Henderson not playing tonight, that was kind of implied and inferred by us going into that game. They probably wouldn't play the second night of a back-to-back injury management, just like Robert Williams. So you won't have Robert Williams, you won't have him, and you unfortunately will not have Shaedon Sharpe either, as he's dealing with a calf flare-up. They're not calling it strain or anything, just soreness. You might get Denny Avdia. He was listed as questionable. We'll get an update as we go to the coach's corner here in about 7 minutes. But regardless, you still got Blake, got 2, you got everyone. Take it to the Memphis Grizzlies, a Memphis Grizzly team that is going to come into tonight's game once again hurting. The lineup for your opponent tonight, the Memphis Grizzlies. Remember how they had half their lineup missing? Well, it gets even worse tonight. Scottie Pippen Jr. out. Left toe injury management. Ja Morant out. Left elbow UCL sprain. Zach Edey out. Left ankle stress reaction. Brandon Clark out. Right calf strain. Santi Aldama out. Right knee injury management. Cedric Coward listed as doubtful with right shoulder soreness. Jalen Wells listed as doubtful with right shoulder soreness. So the injury list, which was already deep, just got deeper. So even without Scoot, maybe you'll be okay, but you still need to be ready to ride and have those horses ready to sprint to get out and beat this Memphis team. In that game last night, you had good balance from Memphis. Even though you beat them big, it was, 8 different players in double figures for Memphis, all starters. Jalen Wells, who's listed as doubtful, he had 13 points. Cedric Coward, who's listed as doubtful tonight, he had 11 points. Scottie Pippen Jr., who is now downgraded to out, he had 13 points. G.G. Jackson had 15 points. Prosper had 13 points. Spencer had 18 points. Clayton had 11. Small had 11. So they had balance there. They started decently enough, and you're like, oh, no, here we go. You can kind of feel the boo birds. You can feel the tension in the crowd. But then the Blazers were able to stick it to him. 23 points from Jeremy Grant. Drew Holiday had 20. Tamani Kamara, 15. Shaedon Sharpe had just 2. He only played 14 minutes before leaving with that sore calf. Sidi Sissoko had 9 points. Vit Krejci, 11 points. He was 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. Scoot Henderson, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Love to see that. Did have 1 steal in there. 5 turnovers. Get that one down, but that's okay. Game 1 back. Robert Williams, 13 points and 7 boards. Donovan Clingan, 17 rebounds. On a night where, quite honestly, it felt like he could have had more. Left a couple on the table. But he had a big night on the glass. Do that again tonight, because when you're already thin, and if Memphis comes in and if Coward is a no-go, and that's going to hurt you some more, you win these games just like you did last night. Attack the glass, and then take care of the ball. don't turn it over. Blazers ended up last night having more turnovers than we all would have liked. They had 18 of them. That led to 19 points off turnovers for Memphis. The difference was Memphis had 16 turnovers, so they had fewer, but Portland was able to generate more points off them. Portland had 23 points off turnovers. And also, Portland had 62 bench points to the 50 of Memphis. Second chance points. Portland only had 13, which is shocking because usually they do some real good work on the offensive glass. They only had 12 offensive rebounds, not a ton of second chance opportunities. Take advantage of this Memphis team tonight, and you can hopefully absolutely have another big win. And in the grand scheme, a big win tonight would be bigger than I think most people think. You win tonight, you have a 4-game gap between you and Memphis. You're working with a 4-game gap between you and Dallas. Do you really see either of those teams winning 5 more games than you the rest of the way, enough to jump back when this schedule gets incredibly easy for the Trailblazers? A win tonight goes a long, long way in basically saying, yep, we're a play-in team, as long as you don't do the absolute worst thing possible, and that is squander it all and let it slip away. Can't do that. Just play like you did last night, at least for the last 3 quarters. In the second and third quarter combined, Portland outscored Memphis 81-51. Double up. Do it again. Sean says so many injuries on both sides. There's not really there really isn't this time around though, Sean. The only real injury that you're looking at is Shaden Sharp, which is just calf tightness, and then Denny Avdia, who is listed as questionable last we checked. But you also have you had the other side is the one that's really injured. Now you have Scoot Henderson who's not playing. That one makes sense because, again, injury management. And then you have Robert Williams who's not playing. Those guys haven't been playing on the second nights of back-to-back. At least they're not playing because they're actually injured. It's more making sure they stay healthy, which is good. And it's worked for Rob all year, knock on wood. Tonight, we'll see what happens because the Grizzlies might be the Memphis Cubs once again. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Blazers Game Day. When we come back, we're going to head down to the Coach's Corner here from head coach Tiago Splitter. Continue to get you ready for Blazers Grizzlies Part 2 here at Moda Center, and all right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back in to Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Time now for the Coach's Corner. We're just waiting on head coach Tiago Splitter to talk to the media. As soon as he does, we'll pod that audio up for you, and you will hear from Coach right there. Meanwhile, Sean says, Veet going to get a season high in points tonight. Young will have a double-double. That would be nice. That would be nice. And Veet Krejci over the last 2 games has looked he's looked good, even though he's not filling up the score sheet or anything. On 11 points last night, 5 points in his debut. He has gravity, and I asked Coach about that last night. I said, are you feeling teams defend you differently when Veet's on the floor now that you have a guy who's such a good three-point shooter? And without a doubt, he was like, yes, absolutely. He has gravity, and they know about it, and it's good to have that. And teams have to be aware. They can't just sit in the paint. When Toronto came, you knew they were a team that likes to sit inside and let you shoot. They wouldn't have been able to do that if Veet Krejci was out there shooting. He would have went off. So hopefully you can have a good night and just take advantage of a team who's down tonight. The thing is, like I've told you guys before, it's the NBA. It's the best of the best of the best, sir. MIB, right? So they're good enough to win, just not most nights. You have to come in and not be on your game and be lazy and just not focused, and then a team will get you. Can't do that tonight. All right, let's hear from Tiago.
What are some of the challenges of having playing a team twice in a row and not? I mean, you did it against Houston earlier this season, but what are some of the challenges of these kind of baseball series?
I think you got a chance to kind of have the fresh mind and know how they play. The tricky part of these two games are that I think both teams kind of like go with different squads, right? So they got some guys out yesterday, some guys playing tonight. So we kind of like play with a team yesterday and play a different team tonight. So we kind of have the essence of how they play, but with different individuals. So it's important to know who you're guarding or who is guarding you, and then go from there when you prepare a game like this. So got to be ready. You can be happy about that win that's gone and focus on tonight.
Tiago, how difficult is it to integrate, whether it's Scoot, who's been here and seen kind of how you guys run a system, versus adding a guy like Krejci, who it takes, you guys aren't running a ton of sets, you guys are going more off, of motion and read and react. Like how hard is it to integrate somebody into that and trust the mistakes or allow that room while still trying to remain competitive?
That's a great question. I think it's a little easier for Veet because he is not like a ball dominant guy where he just, kind of like reads the game. And honestly, he's a very smart player. Scoot is being around, so it's not hard for him. So it's kind of like easier because he sees every day and he watches the practice, and he's been part of the practice now for a little bit, as you guys know. He was not just ready to compete at this level, but finally came in, and I thought that both are pretty much understanding what we do and stay connected on offense, on defense, on the stuff that we do on offense. I think, there's a emotional part for Scoot more than Veet because Veet was active and playing. So, Scoot was out for a long time, and there's, the pressure to perform and the emotional part of coming back and staying in front of the fans again and the city that loves him. So I think those are the difference.
How do you feel that Scoot handled that last night?
Great. I think he was great. With all that said, I mean, maybe a little, like I said yesterday, rust those first 4 or 5 minutes, but his second stint was way better. He was aggressive. He was shooting the ball. He was finding guys, not afraid to play. So it was great.
Hey, Coach, is Denny's status for the All-Star game in jeopardy playing in that game? And if not, how do you guys balance that as an organization? I mean, it's not really going for you guys, and that's such a big moment for him.
Joe, it's really like day to day, honestly, is how he feels, and can't say more than that. I mean, I gotta go there, wake up every day, and I ask how he's feeling, and and talk to the doctors. He gotta hit some parameters and strengths and stretches and all of those things that we do. Just not ready yet, so that's all I can tell you. Hopefully he's ready for the next game. Again, this is what I hope for. So I can't tell you about All-Star yet.
How's your back?
My back's fine.
Okay.
It's okay.
Is Shade
A little sore after the back-to-back. But,
That's a lot of
Shade, is he day-to-day also?
Shea, we did some tests. Honestly, I don't know the results yet. I've got to, go check more on that. But he's, of course, out tonight as well.
Is that
a lingering thing? Has that been bugging him for a while, or did it just pop up last game?
He had some beginning of the season where he had a little bit, days that he's been sore more than others, and he felt a little more sore at that halftime, and decided not to come back.
Any other questions? Thank you all. Thanks, Tiago.
And there you hear from head coach Tiago Splitter, and you may have missed just the beginning of that where he did confirm, obviously, Scoot Henderson and Robert Williams out tonight, injury management, and then Denny Avdia is downgraded to out tonight as well. As Sean says, not true injuries, but still a lot on the injury list, and yes, he was right. But out tonight, now officially, Scoot Henderson, Damian Lillard, Chris Murray, Shaedon Sharpe, Matisse Thybulle, Robert Williams, and Denny Avdia. And these injuries get interesting. Like the Chris Murray one is kind of interesting, like a low back, a little bit of low back pain. Like I feel like you could play like through that. Like the calf strain is a little bit more worrisome just because of the connectivity to the other muscles in that leg. And granted, yes, I know how the back works too. I know how it connects through all that, but it's just a little bit different. I feel like stretch, get through, get ready to go. It feels like, yeah, you miss a few games. It feels like a real long time to miss, be out like a month with a low back strain. No, I'm not Chris Murray. I'm not. Everyone heals a little different. I don't know. I just want to see him out there. I want healthy teams, that's all. But Shaedon Sharpe out with a left calf soreness. Matisse Thybulle continues to be out with right knee tendinopathy. Robert Williams out for knee management. And then Denny Avdia, the low back strain, he will be out as well tonight. So there we are. That's where we're at with your Trailblazers. So that just means you get a healthy dose of Blake Wesley. And, yeah, Vit Krejci might have a chance to just really go at it tonight. We'll be interested to see what that starting lineup is. There's a chance you could throw Vit in there and just let him go ham, give him 30 minutes and have a little bit of fun. But regardless, it doesn't matter. It still is a Blazer team that has the talent out there to win, and so you got to get back to the F word. And I'm not talking about the bad one, the four-letter one. I'm talking about focus. Focus is going to be at a premium tonight because even against a Memphis Grizzlies team that is missing most of its roster, and I mean most of its roster. For those of you just tuning in, once again, you got Cedric Coward, doubtful. You've got Scottie Pippen Jr. downgraded to out. You have Jalen Wells, doubtful. And then the same guys who missed last night, Santi Aldama, Brandon Clark, Zach Edey, John Morant, all out. So you're getting a half of the Memphis team, just like Portland is a little injured too. But you look at who is playing, and I give a tap to the tip of the hat to Portland. It weighs in their favor. So how do you lose a game like tonight? You come out lazy and you come out unfocused. Again, the F word will be the key to winning this type of game. Focus, focus, focus. Don't be lazy and make dumb plays. Because a team, even as a shell of themselves, will find ways to take advantage and beat you if you give them opportunity. Don't give them opportunity. As my old baseball coaches say, go for the jugular. Go for the knockout blow. Don't let them stay in the game. You see what happens in a game like Washington where you should have won that game, but you were just not feeling yourself. You couldn't get it going. You let them stay in the game too long, and eventually they knocked you out of it. So you got to stay focused, you got to stay ready, and you got to hammer home that you're the better team on the floor tonight. And I like what Sean said earlier. Vit, career high. Young Hansen, double-double. And we all go home happy. We shall see. This is Blazers Game Day. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. 88528 is the text line. And, of course, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue to get you ready for Blazers taking on the Grizzlies versus the Grizzlies. I got called out last night. Someone didn't like my use of verse. Blazers versus Grizzlies. That is a commonly accepted pronunciation of the shorthand versus. I'm going to stick to that. I promise you. We'll talk about it when we come back here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. their two-way guys. I know they want to try to get City Sissoko lined up. I want City Sissoko to get a contract as well. They still need to figure out what they're going to do because they're going to have to cut a guy to do that or waive a guy, buy out a guy. So we'll see what happens there. But that is your explanation as to why Caleb Love didn't play last night. He will play tonight against a Memphis team that, like we said, they are not the Memphis Grizzlies. They're the Memphis Bear Cubs. All their best players are out. They don't have Jaren Jackson Jr. because he was traded at the deadline. They don't have Jock Landale because he was sent out at the deadline. They have no big men. If Cedric Howard doesn't go, that impacts them even more. So this is the type of game, once again, that you have to have Donovan Clingan absolutely go off. And Donovan Clingan is putting together some good box score games, but also just like, no. He's having nights where it's like, you should be better. You should be better. Like, yes, you had 17 rebounds. That was a night where he felt like he should have had 25. And then he's still offensively just, yes, he's starting to hit the three-point with some efficiency, but just struggling at the rim. It has not been a banner week for Donovan Clingan, even though those box scores look good. I think you got to figure out how to get him best in line defensively because the book's going to be out on him pretty soon if it's not already out. And that's run, pace. That's how Jared Allen was able to have a career game. That's how Mark Williams was able to have a great game when Phoenix was here. He just ran by him. And I like DC. You guys know I like DC. Still high on DC. Just need to get him a little more engaged on that defensive end. Get in the right spot. The 17 rebounds are great. Continue to do that. But on a night like tonight, there's no big guy. There's no all-class world-beaten rebounder. Donovan Clingan should absolutely feast. And then you get to the point where you get Young Hansen in there too. Think about that. You got no Dwight Reith and no Robert Williams. So Young Hansen will get some play. And one of our texters thinks, do you think Young will get more time tonight? I liked the between the legs pass last night. And yeah, he absolutely is going to get more time tonight. Didn't realize I was answering her question before I read it. But he'll get more time tonight. And the between the legs pass was good, but then at the same time, you need him to just be a little more in control. I love the fact when he gets the ball down low that he likes to go and put his back to the basket and try to get some leverage there. But against Memphis, and you got to be careful with that because Memphis is, again, on a night like tonight. The same reason I think Donovan Clingan can have a great game is the same reason Young Hansen can get beat up a little bit, and that is the fact that they're going to have to go small. And when you go small, you're going to get mismatches, but it also means you're going to get quick defenders, quick hands, and you saw that play out in the final 2 minutes of that game last night where he turned the ball over a few times. However, that behind, it was a backwards between the leg pass to Blake Wesley and then cuts to the rim. Blake finds him for the layup. That was one of the best plays of the game. That thing was beautiful. Like, Young Hansen is super, super raw. Young Hansen, the jury is out. The ceiling, I don't think anyone knows where it truly is, but he shows every once in a while that little flash of what you talked about or what you heard from Joe Cronin all offseason about the IQ. He's got a basketball mind. And I just think it's a matter of getting the game speed up to his brain speed because he looks really good when he's out there doing like 2-on-2s and 3-on-3s before the game. That he looks great in. So now it's just a matter of can you get that to translate to these games when he's getting full speed and he's getting defenders and it's 5-on-5 because that is a much, much different ball game. But we'll see tonight because he's definitely going to get some play. And I think it's another good night where you get Vit Krejci in there. Do you start him at shooting guard or he's going to be your six-man galore because you're starting Jeremy Grant and all that stuff. Like you get to experiment a little bit tonight. So I'm excited to see that. Blake Wesley will get more of a run. But really, I think this is a night where a couple of those auxiliary guys can step up just a little bit more and have really good games. And I know it sounds weird, but like I count Toumani Camara in that category. Like Toumani Camara in the starting lineup when everybody's healthy is like probably your fourth scorer. On a night like tonight, it'd be great to have him just go ham, set a career high. As Sean said in the YouTube chat, have Vit Krejci go out there, go crazy. Set a career high for those of you keeping it at home. Career high for Vit Krejci's 28 points. And it happened this year. It was in like the second week of the season. So it's there. He can go off. He can go ham. Be great to see him do it tonight. It'd be great for young Hansen to go crazy. And then Caleb Love to remind you, hey, I'm battling for a roster spot too, my friends. But in general, the key to the game tonight is just making sure you don't leave the door open for a team like Memphis, who even without all the guys who didn't play last night and a couple guys who did, Jalen Wells, Cedric Howard listed as doubtful. If they play, that changes a little bit. But still, G.G. Jackson can go score. Cam Spencer can score. He led the team in scoring last night. Don't leave the door open. You cannot afford that against any team in the NBA. You cannot do the simple, oh, we showed up to the gym. None of their best players are playing. We're going to walk through this one. Because if you try to walk through a game, you will watch the other team sprint by you. You still need to treat this like this is the 100-meter dash, and every single lane is filled with the best sprinters in the world. Olympic reference, even though it's Winter Olympics, I know. And you need to sprint as fast as you can. If you look behind you and you got, 50-meter lead on them in your 100-meter dash, that's good. But don't even take the time to look behind you. Just go. You are playing the best in the world. You're going to beat them. And if you play that way, then I think you get out to a big lead, and you just really leave no doubt. Last game, it took the first quarter out of the way, and then you felt a little better. But I don't think anyone felt good at the end of the first quarter when Memphis was up 36-25, and at one point had a 15-point lead. Now, they didn't have the talent to hold on to that on that night, and Portland took advantage of them leaving the door open. So if you're Portland, get out there, stomp on them, slam the door shut. Do not give them an opportunity to get back in the game. That is going to be the absolute key. What else will be key? Well, we end every single show with a segment with keys to the game. What are our keys to the game? What do the Blazers need to do exactly to beat this Memphis Grizzlies team? I'll let you know when we return after a break here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. YouTube.com. Type in Rib City Radio, and you can join the chat over on YouTube, where Devin already gets in. If it's our young sharpshooters tonight, keys would be hit the threes, don't foul like dummies, and make some free throws. Yeah. Now, as Dogcatcher says, nice. Now, turn the ball over. Turn over the ball once in a game. Don't turn the ball over. I think that's basically what you mean. That's what you need to do. My keys to the game in this one are similar to last night. It worked. It just didn't. It took them a little longer to get it going than I thought it would. But with this team the way they are, and Sean says Spencer's out, I think. Last I checked, Cam Spencer was questionable. I didn't see the Grizzlies official update, but we shall see. He was questionable going into last night's game, too. They're going to need him. If he's not, that's even a bigger blow to Memphis as they take on the Blazers tonight. But for the Blazers, you need to attack the glass with absolute ferocity. I don't think there's a reason that you shouldn't win the rebound battle by 20. Donovan Clingan had 17 in last night's game. That was great, but I need Drew Holiday, Tamani Kamara, Vit Krejci, anyone who plays, attack that glass, go crazy. Hell, this should be a night that you all go, oh my gosh, Jeremy Grant can get double-digit rebounds? What the heck? There's just no reason that team, as undersized as they're going to be, should win the battle on the glass. And get more than those 12 offensive boards. And when you get them, get those second chance points up. The fact that Portland couldn't translate those offensive boards into second chance points last night was probably part of the reason it took them a minute to get going. You got to get advantage down low. And, again, use your size. Robert Williams was the best center last night at taking advantage of the rebounds and putting them back up for quick points. You need Donovan Clingan to start playing like that as well. When he gets the ball down low on an offensive rebound, it should be go right back up, get the ball in the rim. Now, Dogcatcher says, last night I wanted the Blazers to minimize the turnovers and maximize the free throw percentage, and they did not minimize the turnovers. They had 18 of them. That was one of my keys to the game as well. Free throw-wise, though, they were good. 20 of 21. Do that again. A nice night from the Trailblazers. It was nice to watch Vit Krejci get fouled on a three-pointer and make all three of the free throws. The only missed free throw came from Scoot Henderson. That's okay. I'll allow it. But turning the ball over is something that, against a team like the Grizzlies tonight, you turn the ball over, then that gets that team who is down due to injuries and may not have the same amount of talent on the floor as you. That is one of those things that goes back to what I said earlier. It leaves the door open. If Portland doesn't turn the ball over, they will win this game big. I would like them to be below their season average and smart with the basketball. And mainly the type of turnover that I hate the most is just the lazy one. Looking at Shaedon Sharpe, who had a few of those last night, and even though he only played 14 minutes. When I just look at a guy and I just kind of lazy chest pass and then someone comes in, cuts it off, and they're on the break before I know it, that's a lazy turnover. You can't have those. The free throws that you talked about, though, Dogcatcher, were absolutely huge. So keep the turnovers down. Attack the glass. And it's going to be harder with Scoot Henderson out just because you saw how important he was tonight. But I love the way the ball was moving last night. 31 assists. Feel like that's something you don't see happen too often for this Trailblazers team. So to go out there, get those assist numbers up, and just move the ball. Find those open shooters. I mean, Vit Krejci has been wonderful thus far, even if he's not shooting the ball at a high percentage on certain nights. I mean, 1 for 6 in that first night. What I do love about him is when he grabs a ball and he wants to shoot, his shot form is instantaneous. There's no question. There's no hesitation. It's just shoot. He is ready to go. Find him. It's kind of like Jeremy Grant. When you don't shoot it in his shooter pocket, you pass it above his head, and he just grabs and shoots. The 31 assists, in fact, like I said, you don't see that happen very often. That's tied for the third most assists on the season. The most assists this team had was back on October 29th against Utah when they had 34, and then on January 5th against Utah when they had 32. They have had 31 assists 3 times this year. Last night against Memphis, they had it a few games prior against Phoenix, and they had it at Golden State. Get the assist numbers up. I like the assist numbers up and the turnover numbers down. Who doesn't like that? But you do things like that tonight, and you'll take advantage of this Memphis Cubs team. We said not the Memphis Grizzlies, the Memphis Cubs. No Ja Morant, no Jaren Jackson Jr., who was traded, no Santi Aldama, who has taken it to the Blazers this year. And that's good for Portland. Again, I'm just going to go back to what I said. Don't leave the door open because they'll find a ways to get in and hurt you. You can't let that happen. And if you didn't tune in last night, I do have a crazy stat for you if you're just tuning in right now. And that is there is Ja Morant tonight. And that should almost be not surprising at this point because Ja Morant is like anti-playing against the Trailblazers. This was a stat that kind of blew my mind. He's like Luka Doncic or Joel Embiid. But Ja Morant, you count the 2 games tonight. Ja Morant has only played 1 of the last 10 games that the Grizzlies have played the Blazers. Just 1. Since the start of the 2023-2024 season, the only game that he's played against the Blazers was November 25th, 2024. In fact, Ja Morant has not played in this building since November 2nd of 2022. It has been a minute since a Blazer fan has got to watch a Blazer game against Memphis with Ja Morant actually playing. Now the question is the next time the Blazers see Ja Morant in this building, will he be wearing a Memphis Grizzly uniform or will he have moved on? Because we know that the Grizzlies are trying to find something to move off of him. Just kind of crazy. I want to see the best players play. I want to see Ja out there. Music means it's time to go. For me, but not for you. You got to keep it here locked in. It's coming up next across the Trailblazers audio network. It's the Trailblazers pregame show with Chad Doing. And then at 7 o'clock, he'll hand the mic over to your radio voice of the Trailblazers, Travis Demers, for Blazers vs. Grizzlies here under home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 6:20. And after the game, keep it locked in for the 5th quarter where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Rip City, I'll talk to you after the game.